content warning to mention of self-harm, implied suicidal ideation, and mentions of eating disorder behaviors. They say that laughter is the best medicine, but I disagree. I think that it's dogs. Well, the dogs and the families that they come with, really. The families who take you in like their own with no conditions attached, no requirements added. But pups are still the best medicine, and I'll still stand by that. Sure, therapists are professionals and they're trained for this stuff or whatever. But really, the choices are pay hundreds of dollars on people therapy or get more silly, fluffy therapy with only the small fee of getting some dog fur on your shirt. And all I do in this therapy, it isn't much different from being at home. I just sit there and I exist. And I really don't mind that, and I really don't particularly mind that the jet black fur keeps sticking to the white of my jacket the same way that the small actions and lessons of my found family continue to stick with me. Both the lessons that I wanted and the ones I didn't want but I needed anyway. The best medicine. It isn't a pill you take, nor a chemical you get hooked on. It's the family you built out of need. The family built of bricks, not blood. The ones who will drive almost 2 hours just to pick you up and bring you over, even if all you really do while there just exist on their couch. I sat on their couch. I've laughed there, and I've learned there. Made friends who became the closest set of brothers I have. I cried there. I'll never forget what it was like having someone hear me that night when all I needed was to be heard and listened to. I'm thankful that I had my family there to fill that role. I knew I needed help, hospitalization. If the cuts on my arms and rising fear of food wasn't a clear sign of that, then I had a past that was repeating, which definitely showed it. I don't want to get to that point again, I'd sobbed. I sat on the couch, crying, begging for help, tears falling down my cheeks, my voice shaky and quiet. I don't want to die. They heard me and they helped me where they could, and by the following day, I'd gotten into a hospital. I don't think I would have kept trying for help if I hadn't had them. Everyone needs a family like mine. Yes, I laughed on the couch. I've cried on that couch. I've cried to them because they made me eat. I've subtly glared at them because I didn't want to admit to not being okay after they had figured it out in less than 30 minutes walking with me. But I've also sobbed after hanging up on the phone with them purely because she said that they were proud of me. They'll make me laugh and let me cry when I need it, will kick my ass into getting help whether I like it or not, who will shove a bowl of food into my hand and stare at me till they see me take a bite just because they had decided that I deserved food when I'd already decided that I didn't. Maybe the best medicine isn't laughter or pills or a prescription. It could almost be a set for children, but maybe there isn't some singular best medication to take. But the found family you needed, the family you found whose fur children will turn your white coat black, that family, the ones who don't just say that you can talk to them and that they'll listen, but they will show you. Sometimes that family is the closest thing to that made-up best medication.
Once upon a time, every time, all the time, dreams and mind Milky Way's innocence, wonder, and strength are reduced to carbon bases of organic traces. Molecules turn to cells, turn to tissues, turn to organs, to systems, turn to me and ask, what will you do? Quietly, like it's supposed to be a secret. As if they don't know, I can hear them repeating, echoing through the bodies of my mother, father, brother, friend. They speak through the mother who lost her child millions of years ago. They slowly flit away from that deep, dark cave where a civilization first learned to grieve their dead. They didn't expect us to get this far and turn over their secretive rock. But they made the mistake of reacting just right so that the 12-year-old on the bathroom floor wishes they never came together and gave them this life, wishing and crying that the fish never left water, dying for a chance that their dreams and mine Milky Way's innocence, wonder, and strength turn back into nothing but carbon bases. But kid, there's more to it than that. The iron that runs through your veins, the taste in your mouth when you bite down on your tongue too hard because you can't be found screaming, created the stars from supernovas. Do you think it's a coincidence that your cells creating life are the same shape as a star when it dies? That your veins are like lightning and your eyes like black holes, fingerprints like the gravitational pull of every celestial body? Each and every one of us carries a universe inside us. So when you degrade yourself, let others degrade you, you are destroying worlds that could have been. You're cramming galaxies in the infinite into the definite, something it was never meant to be. You look up at the sky and sit in awe. People study the stars for a living because we know that the fact that it's here is a miracle. So why don't you look at yourself the same way? What makes the freckles you hate any different than the constellations you traced your fingers through as a child? What makes the thighs you take your hidden anger out on so much different than the tree trunks holding up a safe canopy? Your scars are like the remnants of earthquakes in the ground, a symbol of perseverance. You struggle to fall asleep, wishing you would just stop breathing in your slumber, but your lungs are shaped like tree branches, both supplying life thanklessly. Sure, our souls are only here for fleeting moments. In the time span of space, our ideas and dreams have about as much of an impact as the speck of dust you just breathed in. But you have to remember that the glimmer in someone's eyes when they hear the words, "I love you," are older than Saturn's rings. Being held evokes the same feelings as lying down in a soft stream. And if you don't think this is enough for you, could you just at least learn the names of every grain of sand first? Recognize the folds in the brain of a lover, stretch your limbs out in a field and fall asleep, count every heartbeat in the room and realize that yours is no quieter than the others.
I always wanted to be noticed. I always thought that attention felt like home, wanting to be seen by the boy with the long black hair barely showing his eyes, or the girl who was always taking my order at that one boba place. I wanted them to see me, but I've been seen. I know you see me. I know you're thinking something about the way that I look, or the way that I sound, or the way that I dress. But when I say seen, I mean really seen, like seen as in the type of things you see in the media about people like you. But in all honesty, what is home? Home is community, I guess. People who think they get you, even if they really don't. A micro label to make yourself feel a little less alone. I see, not like that, but I see the town that I grew up in. Not home, but just my town. I see the building on 48th Street that used to have that weird skeleton in the window, or the lake that that's my lake at whenever we passed by my grandparents' house when I was 4. I'm not 4 no more, but I still yell that. It's not my grandparents' house anymore, it's mine, and so is that lake. Even if the ducks cover the water with their bodies like it's their place to stay, it's my lake too. Not home, just a memory. I get it's supposed to be my house, but it doesn't feel like home. Memories aren't home. A house isn't what makes a home, not even the town. The people do, but how are you supposed to know who your people are if you don't even know who you are? Maybe home is myself, but if that were the case, I don't want to be home anymore. My body isn't a temple. It's cursed with all the things that I've done wrong and all the mistakes that I've made for the last decade of my life. But I'll welcome you in anyways, and I'll choke on the words, make yourself at home, even if I don't know what that means, or what I'm saying, or who I am, or what I'm doing inside of a place that doesn't even want me. The worst part is if I could leave, I probably wouldn't, because a part of me feels off that self-hate that I'll never be good enough. But what does it matter? I'm nothing but a guest inside my own home. I'm sorry. You're welcome to stay.
Delusions plague my mind, like a virus infecting a computer. I feel sick, and maybe I am. In a world of so many falsehoods, who's to say you're seeing what you think you see? In a way, perhaps I am not the me you know so well. Well, that's a lie. I can only be me. No matter the time, the day, orientation of the stars, I can only be like the person I've always been, like the boy I am. But what if I'm wrong? What if these delusions of mine are the truth? Maybe The person I've been all this time isn't me. Isn't me anymore. I wish so terribly to be more than me, to be something greater, something more. I don't want to swim, I want to fly, soar the skies, true to myself, through thick and thin. Even so, when all's said and done, I can only be me. No matter the time or day, I can only shine like the star I am, like the girl I am.
The title of my poem is Act 1, Scene 4, I Want. It's pitch black right now, but I can feel it. In my chest, in my veins, in my hips, in my brain. I want to take it to a pawn shop, want to offer up the skin I tore away. I want to leave. I'm gonna hitchhike away where nobody can find me, give my family and friends some time to grieve, to give up on belief, to give up on me. I want to reincarnate, to ditch this life and body for a version I can trust, to feel something more than nothing. I want to feel more than disgust. If I cannot be holy, can I at least be me? Can I get a little break? Some time to clear the dust? 5 minutes of reprieve, it's all I really need. But I'm lying. 5 minutes wouldn't save me. It's been 17 long years of just 5 minutes. I'm not fixable. It's not something anyone can do. I've tried, you've tried, he's tried, she's tried, we're all trying. But I'm just not trying hard enough, right? Well, what happens when we're dead, all pretty in our beds, made of pine and flower spreads? How will you ID me? Will you laugh at me in my muscle-made muzzle, knowing this entire time the way you saw me was a lie, and it was one that you were in on, because you dragged me here to stay. You were here for my demise and how I lived unsatisfied. But it's too late to reincarnate, so I'll live, I guess. I'll try to stand my ground, I'll pretend I can be proud, I'll put in work. Scrub my body till it's raw, until the day that I can say that it finally feels okay, when it's not coursing through my veins. The day my chest stops feeling heavy, I will finally be free. My blood, cleared of all impurities. And you'll never have to see me. You can leave me in my past. You can keep me in your memory.